Welcome to Bulldog News Now. I'm Sean Travis Holden, and here's what you need to know. Now to the latest with the government shutdown, which is now deemed the longest in U.S. history. With the blue wave on Tuesday, President Trump is trying to push Senate Republicans to vote to remove the filibuster so they can pass the bill to reopen the government. This will mean they can pass any bill in the Senate with a simple majority and not need 60 votes or help from the Democratic senators. Also with the shutdown, the current administration is taking its time distributing SNAP benefits after a federal judge ordered such action last week. And the shutdown is affecting the skies. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the airport runways are becoming chaotic and dangerous because more and more air traffic controllers are calling in sick. Since the start of the shutdown, they have missed one full paycheck and could miss another one next week. Some of the workers are calling in, picking up odd jobs, and finding other ways to make money. Interruptions to flights are expected at the larger airports at this moment. As I mentioned, the shutdown is causing confusion around SNAP benefits. BNN Dallas Barnes has more.
Most people don't realize all of the hours put in for the country's continuity in support of everyday life for civilians and military personnel. The furlough is not the fault of the employees. However, we are suffering under the weight of being unpaid and struggling to determine the source of feeding our families and paying standard bills." End quote. As Americans across the country continue to feel the effects of the government shutdown, here is what the White House and Capitol Hill have to say about it on its 36th day.
The shutdown proceeds because the Democrats just don't know what they're doing. I don't know what's wrong with them. They've never done a thing like this. They've become crazed lunatics. All they have to do is say, let's go, let's open up our country, and everything snaps back into shape.
4 million Americans will lose health insurance entirely. A 60-year-old couple earning $85,000 could pay a staggering $22,600 more a year. How the hell are they going to afford that?
Every policy disagreement, all of these things we can talk about, we can reason through, we can disagree, we can shake hands and compromise on some of those issues, hopefully, but this is something that every single American, Democrat or Republican or Independent, should be able to agree on. Open the government.
As I mentioned, people are worried about whether or not they're going to get their food stamps and other nutrition programs. That's what's going on. But the House of Representatives is not in town. They're on a paid vacation. How absurd. How insulting is that?
Federal employees are not the only ones impacted by this shutdown. Earlier, we spoke with an SC State student about how the shutdown has affected him. Here's what he had to say.
In a way that this government shutdown has affected me, since I'm a recipient of the GI Bill from the Department of Veteran Affairs, I was not able to get my payments on time, nor were they allowed to finalize my paperwork on time. And they've shut down many hotlines that are available for the students and families that receive benefits from the Department of Veteran Affairs. So let's take a disabled veteran, for example, who is struggling with his mental health. If he calls their hotline, they will not answer as a result of the government shutdown. So we have all of these families of veterans and kids and dependents of veterans that are struggling to find these benefits and receive these benefits. So if this continues, not only will underfunded communities that need these benefits struggle, but the entire structure of this country will struggle.
Anything to say to anybody else going through your situation with the GI Bill?
Hold your head up high, brighter days ahead.
Reporting for BNN, I'm Dallas Barnes.
One option for students needing some everyday items is a student pantry. BNN's Kamora Aiken talked with a pantry organizer to find out how it's helping to meet student needs.
What's up, everyone? My name is Kamora Aiken, and I'm reporting for your Bulldog News Now. Today, I had the pleasure of interviewing Austin, who is a part of our SGA. He serves as the Executive Chief of Staff, and he answered some questions about our Bulldog Pantry. I had the pleasure of sitting down to ask him about the new renovations, how to keep things in stock, and more information about the Bulldog Pantry. So let's go check out that interview. Who am I here with today?
How you doing? My name is Austin Stevens. I'm a junior criminal justice major, and I'm your Executive Chief of Staff.
Okay, Austin, so my question for you today, what is the Bulldog Pantry and what goals does it aim to meet for the student body?
So the Bulldog Pantry is pretty much a place where students can come to get their pretty much basic and essential needs when they can't always get off campus or whatever, because sometimes that's a bigger inconvenience for students to get off campus.
How often are the shelves restocked and where do the donations come from?
So our shelves are restocked kind of based off need based. So when we see things or certain items getting kind of low, we kind of tell our alumni association that we need things, and they give our donations and whatnot. Or faculty and staff sometimes also gives donations to them.
So how does SGA plan to keep this initiative long term?
So we plan to keep this initiative long term by passing down kind of, I guess you could say, the tradition of the pantry and what we do through the other class boards, coming from the executive board, so coming from the seniors, the juniors, and the freshmen. So just keeping it going through the years of the class.
Election Day in America happened on Tuesday, and many are calling it a blue wave on the national level. Some of the most watched races included New York City mayor race where Zoran Mandani went over Andrew Cuomo. In Virginia's governor's race, Abigail Spanberger won. She will work with a Democratic team, including Lieutenant Governor and Attorney General. On a local level, the capital city will keep the same mayor. Residents re-elected Columbia Mayor Daniel Rickman for 4 more years. Now to more political news. In a video statement, former Speaker of the U.S. House, Nancy Pelosi, announced she would not seek re-election to Congress. Pelosi has served the San Francisco district for almost 40 years. Some are saying her decision to not run again is because the newcomers in the Democratic Party wanted to hold power and go against the current administration. She is known for helping to construct and pass the Affordable Care Act while Barack Obama was president. On a sad note, the country is mourning the loss of former Vice President Dick Cheney. He was George W. Bush, Vice President, a hard conservative. Dick was the father of Liz Cheney. In an unexpected move, he and his daughter both voted for former Vice President Kamala Harris in the last presidential election. Mark your calendars for Thursday, December 11th. That's the date for the fall 2025 commencement ceremony. The winter graduation will be held in the Smith-Hayman Middleton Memorial Center starting at 10 a.m. Here's a quick sports update. SC State football plays its last home game of the season on Saturday against Howard University. SC State is currently 6-3 overall and 2-0 in MEAC play. Saturday's kickoff is set for 1:30 p.m. In men's basketball, the team is on the road this weekend with stops at Sanford and Birmingham and North Carolina A&T and Greensboro. The women's team next game is at home on Tuesday against Trinity Baptist College. That's your quick sports report.
I'm Samuel Mitchell, and this is your Underground Report. Candace Owens and her group, Blitz, were escorted off Hampton University campus during homecoming weekend. University officials said the group failed to complete the required approval process to host or film on campus, citing safety concerns. Hampton released a statement calling it a matter of safety, procedures, and fairness, not politics. The incident has reunited debate over free speech and political outreach at historical black colleges. Oscar-winning actress Monique is once again calling for a public sit-down with Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. She says the two played a role in damaging her career after she refused unpaid promotion for the 2009 film Precious, claiming a false narrative was spread that she was difficult to work with. Monique says, and I quote, "I'm still waiting for Tyler Perry and Oprah to have this public conversation. Don't run." So far, neither Perry nor Winfrey have responded. Grammy-winning rapper Cardi B has announced plans to launch a $175 million boarding school aimed at providing high-quality education for underserved communities. According to sources, the project will offer full scholarships, after-school enrichments, and mentorship programs designed to support talented students who lack access to extensive boarding environments. Cardi said the school is inspired by her own journey from the Bronx and her belief that opportunity begins with education. A lawsuit has been filed against Carnival Cruise Line over alleged bedbug infestation aboard the ship Carnival Horizon. The plaintiff said they started getting bites just 2 days after a February 2025 Caribbean cruise and later discovered live bugs, eggs, and fetus stains in their cabins, yet they were not relocated or properly treated. They are seeking damages for medical treatments, emotional distress, and loss of property. I'm Samuel Mitchell, and this is your Underground Report.
Hello Bulldogs, my name is Alicia Simmons and I'm back with your Orangeburg Weekly Forecast. Starting off with Friday, it will be a high of 76 and a low of 58. Saturday, a high of 77 and a low of 61. Sunday, a high of 77, low is 40 with a low chance of rain. Moving on to Monday, it will be colder weather with a high of 51 and a low of 28. Tuesday, a high of 52 and a low of 34. Warming back up on Wednesday, a high of 67 and a low of 41. In and off with Thursday, a high of 69 and a low of 41. That's all I have for you today. See you next week. Go Bulldogs.
Here's what's trending. Rapper Jeezy made history over the weekend. He received an official certificate from Guinness World Records for the largest performing orchestra at a hip-hop concert. Jeezy, whose real name is Jay Jenkins, got this award while performing at his Las Vegas residency that's called TM 101 Live. The orchestra has 101 members. He says that this moment is a win for him and the culture. I'm Sean Travis Holden, and that's what you need to know. Enjoy the rest of your day.